Oh, hey y'all, hey. We here. Hey y'all, you know I love dancing. Wow. All right, well, you all know me. My name is Antoine Hunter. Welcome to Deaf Woke. Hashtag Deaf Woke. We always learning, we always growing, learning about people in our community from all over the world, specifically focusing on our BIPOC community and focusing on our Black Deaf community, especially the Black Deaf community. So today we are so excited to have a new story to share with you today from our guests. But before we start with our interview, let me start with a visual description. I got milk chocolatey dark skin, got it from my mama's side. And she was beautiful, by the way. Got it from her. I have a bushy beard, ebony, and long locks, getting to, they're 3 feet right now, getting a little bit longer. I have a black shirt on, black t-shirt with yellow lettering that says hashtag Deaf Woke printed on the front. And the background is a red curtain behind me. Today is April 14th, 2022. And on today's episode, we are going to focus on positive vibes. So we're going to introduce our interpreters that are going to be interpreting the show today. Come on the screen. We do have 2 interpreters. Thank you both, Kaylee. And thank you to interpreter Jay over here in the corner. These 2 have been providing access, and I'm so grateful for all they do. They're beautiful people, right? So today's guest is a wonderful person. I'll give you their bio pretty briefly, but their name is J.C. Smith. They were born in Mississippi. They were born deaf. And such a huge influence on JC's life was his grandmother, someone who helped raise him, someone who he could look up to. He grew up again in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi specifically, and he went to school there before he now attends Gallaudet University. So we're going to go through his journey a little bit later when he comes on the screen about how he got to the Mississippi School for the Deaf and how he ended up at Gallaudet now and how he really went on that path to achieve his dreams. So without further ado, I don't want to take up any more of his time. We're going to show you some of his advertisements. He starred in a McDonald's advertisement highlighting Black ASL and also interpreted Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech, I Have a Dream. So please welcome to the stage, J.C. Smith.
What's up?
Brother, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm feeling blessed. I got you here. Oh, actually, do you mind? Could you give a visual description for the audience who's watching?
Sir, black man with tips, beard. I have a blue shirt on and an athletic build.
I can definitely see that. The athletic build, for sure. You're a busy, busy guy. But we were reading your bio, and you talk about your childhood being born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi. Tell me more about your childhood and being raised down south.
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah. So you got it. What? I was born in Mississippi, Jackson specifically, Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah.
One of the worst place to grow up experiencing racism, and when I mean no opportunity, the people there are just quite closed-minded and isolated. And there's not a lot of diversity, not a lot of things to do, not a lot of just everything's. There's not a lot of understanding and empathy, and it's easy to be influenced by bad habits. My mother gave me away. She gave me to my grandmother. She didn't want to take care of me, and so my grandmother took me in. My father was in and out of our life, uh, but he wasn't really in my life.
So when you say in and out your life, I mean, yeah, expound on that.
Yeah, I really don't. It's a strange relationship. It's just kind of like cordial. Hey, what's up? How you
Mm.
doing? It's simple things. Um, uh, my mother's the same way. There's not really a relationship with that, and so I'm close and have a personal relationship with my sisters and my grandmother, and that's who I was raised by and raised with. Everything I learned was from my grandmother. She's my inspiration. My mother didn't care whether I was deaf or hearing. She didn't care. She just gave me that unconditional love. She sought different schools that fit me, try that I would fit my needs. So she found Mississippi School for the Deaf. Eh, from kindergarten, starting at 3 years old, I attended Mississippi for the School for the Deaf.
Okay, wait. Can we just go back and clarify? Is your grandmother deaf or she's hearing?
Yeah, I'm the only family member that's deaf.
I can just see all those grandma loves and kisses that you got from her.
Yep.
Okay, so you went into Mississippi School for the Deaf at 3.
Hmm. And that's where I learned ASL. I was exposed, immersed. And at first, when I started getting in, I was a little bit confused, thrown back. And about 6 or 7, I really kind of picked up the language. And so for about 3 or 4 years, I was just kind of taking things in. And I wasn't able to sign at that time. And so I was kind of considerably like a mute person. And something clicked, and about 6 or 7, everything clicked, and I was able to really communicate.
Do you remember that feeling of when that kind of happened in your brain, like that click and that you started to pick up the language and became a verbal person? You said that that was around the age of 6. What was that feeling for you?
Yeah, it was awkward at first. Honestly, having that real actual sign word and being able to sign it correctly, the movement correctly. And so my first sign that I learned was apple. I loved apples, loved them. Oof. And so that was the one sign that I was consistent with. I was obsessed with that sign. And so every word I chose was the sign apple. And so everywhere at home, no one really understood me, was able to get me. And so It was being at the deaf school. I was in a place where somebody understood me, and so my grandmother really emphasized learning both languages, the ability to speak as well as sign. And so there, where, and so she accompanied that with the Mississippi for the School for the Deaf and speech therapy, and so I developed both languages. And my grandmother was an incredible fan of my life. She was there everywhere, football practices, events, wherever I was, she was there. And I mean everything. If I was bad at school, she'd show up. You know, she's the rock of my life. You know, she's my strength. And what's fascinating is that we have the same birthday, born on the same day.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so I mean, just that alone, you can imagine how close we were, how close we are.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, was that planned? When is your birthday?
Oh, you're a Taurus. Okay.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, what you were saying about your grandmother, and how she's just the rock of your family, always there for the good and the bad, no matter what happened, all the events, graduation, everything. And how she didn't necessarily sign, but she still gave you that love of sign language.
Yep.
That's so important. And so, you were able to accept who you are and use that language because she made sure that you were exposed to that.
Yeah, nothing like it.
It's so amazing that she, looked for that school for you, the what would be the best educational option for you, and, even if you were having a bad day, she was there, she didn't just say, "Oh, no, I'm not gonna deal with it today." No, she always showed up. So that's so important.
Yeah.
And your sisters too. The love of family is so crucial. And you said so you went to the Mississippi School for the Deaf as a kid, and now you're at Gallaudet. Did you join the football team there? How's that going for you? College kid, got on the football team. You kinda living your best life or trying to stay more on the sidelines?
Yeah, at first it was a challenge. You know, being in Mississippi, I didn't really travel much. You know, so I didn't have really anything familiar outside of Mississippi. It wasn't. I didn't ever go too far away from family. So you know, Gallaudet's 16, 18 hours away from Mississippi. So you know, I had to find the strength to go. You know, to separate. Uh, and you know, making new friends. You know, and so I was forced because if I'm not gonna make friends, then you know I'm gonna be alone. And so got a scholarship. Oh, I'm sorry. I was.
Oh, you're in
This
rugby
is some.
too.
Yeah, rugby. So yeah, I was on the rugby team for 3 years. I enjoyed that. It was a good experience. It's quite challenging. You know, I'd say college. You know, college football is it's like going to work. You know, going to practice is no different than going to work. You know, it's you're not really there to joke around. You know, you're there to you got to get things done. You know, running, practicing, drills, and then they got to go home, get the homework in. You know, and then recycle, rinse, repeat. And then you have no free time. You know, you have team meetings, you have interviews, and then you know I've got rugby things going on. So I had a lot of things very structured. So there was really no time to, for leisure activities until I tore my ACL. Yeah. Yeah, I tore my meniscus, tore my ACL, Achilles. So then that made it tough. And football was my first love. It got me out of the streets. If I wasn't in football, I'd likely follow the path of the streets. This was my talent. This was what I was gifted to do. And my dream was to try to get to the NFL. Really XFL, Canadian League, whatever league I could get to. That's what
Mm.
was my dream. But life took me a different way. So, that experience, the silver lining, it got me more engrossed into my degree. And because of that, I found a different passion. And that led me to doing the Martin Luther King speech.
Yeah, how
Oh,
I mean, MLK, make sure everyone knows who you're talking about.
yeah, sorry. MLK is Martin Luther King Jr.
Junior.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me about the junior. Martin Luther King was an incredible advocate, black advocate for the community, for all communities. Uh, He was an advocate, making sure that everyone had was equal rights, opportunities to be seen as a human, to be equal to each other as humans. And so I performed the "I Have a Dream" speech. At first, though, I was resistant to it, and I knew how long Martin Luther King's speech was, so I was kind of resistant.
How long is it?
It's like 8 minutes. Whew,
Wow. Wow.
whew.
And to take all that in English and put that into Black ASL into our beautiful language, that must have been a challenge.
It took me 2 days. I had two strict, dedicated days of preparation. And so I had to prepare it, get it ready, send it off.
Well, I don't know if the audience watching, maybe they don't have an understanding of it, but taking an English text and putting it into ASL, you have to make sure that you are signing it accurately and making sure that you are conveying, the affect and the power of the message. Are you still able to remember some of it? Did you memorize any of the speech? Because I mean, to do, like a speech of that length and to memorize it and to perform it, how did that feel to be up at the Lincoln Memorial doing MLK's speech?
At the time, I just thought it was a normal day. I was just translating this speech, and I was nonchalant about it. I didn't really think it was a big deal. Uh, uh, I didn't realize how the video that was shared would have an impact. And so looking back on it, sitting back on it, like just looking at it, like it was really impactful. It really touched people. And so at the time, I didn't realize how impactful it would be.
Well, as a person watching it, because I did watch it, it really did have an impact. I mean, your translation let us connect to something so important, something that, strikes us in our soul. And to be able to see that in BASL, Wow. I mean, I don't know if you agree, were you using BASL, but we need more understanding of what BASL is on a wide scale. So could you expound on that for our audience watching?
Sure, it's Black American Sign Language. And it's kind of established based on regional, where you grew up, your background, what school you're from, where your home is. So it will vary, and it's about experience and culture. Uh, Black Sign Language is it's more, for example, you good, this is a sign, you good, you good, you good.
So in what would that look like in, in regular ASL?
So so BSL is be good, and ASL is good this way. Many people, you know, they're tied to their deaf family, but not based on the individual and the culture and the group, you know?
I mean, like, ooh, when I was watching it, I was watching you do MLK speech. I'm sorry, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. speech. When you were giving that translation, it was so powerful. And I've seen it signed before. I've seen, children recite it. I've seen adults do it. I've seen it in ASL translations before. I've seen that for many years, but to see the way that you did it, to see someone from my community, that that was everything. And you mentioned, okay, so going back, you said that you played football. How did you use football to, one, like, you were saying, stay out of trouble. Two, you didn't have any free time and your schedule was so rigid. So how did you, when you left that, keep your mind, body, soul going strong?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you had to develop new skills. You had to deviate from the path that you were going on and find, this new path that you're on and this new journey. So how did you transition?
I didn't my I realized that my talent was actually giving a voice for people who don't have a voice, for those who wish they had something to say. And so, I taking my gift and translating that into taking advantage of putting that on a platform, taking advantage of that platform and giving a gift to people, uh, giving a voice to people. And that is an incredibly powerful gift, period.
You representing. Speaking of representation, you had that McDonald's ad. What did that entail, getting into that McDonald's advertisement, and how did you get the role, first of all?
Yeah, truthfully, well, the McDonald's promotion and the story behind it. I was actually fascinating enough. There was quite a coincidence. I was taking a nap and I was kind of dreaming of the correlation with McDonald's, and I got an email. Uh, and, and somebody contacted
Oh,
me
from
through
your
my
friend.
LinkedIn. Yeah,
Yep, yep, yep.
and they couldn't text me from my LinkedIn. And so I didn't have the app. I just had it, your traditional access to it on the computer.
Right, right.
And so what happened was I did a ABC. I was on ABC. Did a Was interviewed for them. They gave my contact information, and then that led to the McDonald's promotion. And truthfully, that was one of the greatest experience I've ever had.
Why? Why was it the greatest experience?
People, I mean, incredible. They're nice, friendly. They were just genuine. They're welcoming. They were just incredibly A1 people, and they were so accommodating. They gave me time to be able to, be able to express myself. They were patient. They didn't rush. And so that allowed me not to feel awkward. That allowed me to be able to get into my process, to be able to, articulate these lines. Now, the only thing that probably was a downside, if I had to identify something, was that there was no interpreter that they provided. I gave them enough notice, but there was no interpreter that was there, and so I was really hoping that they would provide one, and so that was a lost opportunity. So I really wish that they had provided one. But I just had to get through it. So I couldn't let that stand in my way. And it turned out to be a great experience.
Yeah, I mean, you were able to get through it, and it seems like you got through it with a smile on your face, even though the interpreter didn't show up. The show must go on, and you did go on, and so kind of kept that poker face, and so went into your process, so you were able to still be, your free spirit, and able to express yourself the way you wanted to.
And what's interesting, I did receive some negative publicity because of that advertisement, because of the way I was signing. Black Sign Language. That's what I got it for. I got it growing up. It's part of who I am, and people misunderstood that. Some people have want to preserve kind of their own regional signs, but everyone has different backgrounds and different cultures. Uh, you know, and so Dr. McCaskill, she was the individual who wrote a book pertaining to Black Sign Language.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think she was one of the five individuals who wrote a book specifically related to Black Sign Language. And so I'd asked her, I said, am I doing something wrong? Am I off course? And she said, no, she confirmed it. The signs you're choosing to use is your culture, it's your experience. And so that gave me assurance. And so, this is who I am.
Exactly. You have your own, you know, language and your own version of BASL, and what does that mean to, you, and what does that mean to other people? It might mean something different. So there's definitely, pros and cons, and unfortunately, that negativity happened, but you are representing to the best of your ability and to the best of your knowledge based on your experience and your exposure, and I think you did a fantastic job.
I appreciate that.
Of course. So what are you up to today? What are the goals that you have right now?
I'm focused on graduating. That's my primary goal. I was graduating here at Gallaudet University. And then get an internship with ABC Network in the communication industry. That's cross fingers. Hopefully, there's an opportunity there for me that can set me on a path, a new path, and set me on my way of my journey.
What are you studying at Gallaudet?
Communication studies. And communication studies, it can be is applicable to all kind of industries: film, press, news reports, press, newspaper. I mean, a lot. There's several opportunities within the communication industry. And so I'm focusing a lot on sociology, how the world is being impacted. Uh, use my resources that are available to me. and focusing on risk management.
Okay, I was gonna ask you to say that again. Risk management. That's your minor. Okay.
I've enjoyed that so far. Really helping people who need it. Discussing things related to health insurance, medical insurance, car insurance. Really giving people the knowledge to understand why it's salient to have insurance in their life.
So interesting. So, I mean, these are the goals that you have, and um, you've gotten to where you are now, but you don't get there alone. So, who's somebody that you looked up to along the way that helped get you to where you are?
Yeah, Seco White. This is his name sign, S on the forehead. He graduated from Kentucky University. I attended Gallaudet. Played basketball. Very athletic individual.
Oh, so now
And
he
then
works in Mexico. Interesting.
Missouri, yeah. So when after college, he went to Missouri, then and then he transferred over to Mississippi on helping kids that had disciplinary issues. And then I met him when in my younger years. When I had some trouble. And it was it was a thrill to meet Mr. White. Like black deaf. I have similar stories. We just kind of we vibed. Talked about going to school with hearing aids, and
So he was kind of that role model that you had, the diamond studs, the locks, and he was able to really be somebody that you could look up to, keep you out of trouble, but still be, a person that you felt you were the same.
yeah, I mean, I appreciate him so much. And so, Kobe Bryant is one of Mr. White's favorite basketball players. So he looked up to him. I remember him telling me stories about Kobe. So he's an incredible person.
Well, you just dropping names over here. Wow. And since you are dropping names, how about we move on over to our name game called Name Those People.
Let's see what I can do.
Okay, dope. So basically, you can either try and name their names, or if you don't remember their name, you can try and name what they do. So like what they do for, occupation, what you might know them in. Yeah, either one.
All right, so either one, okay.
I'm gonna do a visual description, and then after I do the visual description, you can go ahead and give your answer.
I got you. I got you.
Okay, so we have a picture of an African American female, appears in her brown highlighted black short hairstyle, wears black almond shaped glasses with a pearl earrings and a matching necklace with a beige blazer. Who is she?
Yeah, Dr. Elizabeth Moore. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Yes, exactly, Dr. Elizabeth Moore. How do you know her?
She's a vice president, diversity and inclusion department. She's incredible. Yeah, she's always about diversity in the community and so on.
All right. Next, we got an African American male standing in front of a brick wall. He has a bald head, looking handsome with silver glasses, a thin beard, and a long sleeve blouse with a gray vest. Who is he?
Yeah, it's Christopher Jackson. Oh, Johnson. CJ.
That's
CJ.
CJ. That's CJ. So it's kind of funny. We got CJ, JC. How do you know each other?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, he was attending his master's program while at the same time I was, attending my undergrad. So he was a mentor I had in college. He's a good guy. Kind of helped me understand the logistics of college.
All right, next we got an African American female with a black thick afro. She's a black tattoo on her left hand, wrist, and a black strap dress. She's raising her arms and touching her hair, looking sexy at the camera.
Come on now, she grew up in Mississippi. She's an actress. Yeah,
Brandy.
Brandy.
Yeah, we got Brandy Norwood. She's from Mississippi too?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's an American singer, songwriter, record producer, actress, model, known for her stage name, her mononym name, Brandy. And she actually had her own show, Moesha. We all knew and loved that show. And you know her song, "Hey," you know the lyrics, "I'm down with you. I wanna be down with you." You know it. We all know and love it. Alright, next we got an African American male appears with coiled hair, a trimmed black beard, silver stud earrings, and a black top with open collar, and he's looking at the camera grinning.
Oh man, I know he's an actor.
Actor, yep. Do you know what he's in?
Yeah, he's been in all kinds of
He's a
comedy
comedic
movies.
actor. Yep, yep.
Yeah, he's what's the I know he's in Blackish.
Let's see. Yes, Anthony Anderson. You remember,
Ah,
you got it. He's from
yeah.
Compton. I know. He ain't from Oakland, but we still brothers. He's from Compton, and he's an actor and comedian. He was in Blackish, um, All About the Anderson, the Bernie Mac Show, and he also actually attended Howard University, so not far from where you're at now. All right, let's see. We have an African American female wearing a head wrap turban with dark blue lock bangs. Has 4 lock jewels on her locks, and has blue eyebrows with long lashes and a nose ring. Who is she?
Mm, Raven. Raven. I don't know her last name, but her first name is definitely Raven.
You're gonna go with Raven? You sure?
Yeah, she interprets music. She's great. I know her first name's Raven.
And the last name is Sutton. You got it. Raven is a deaf, native from Alabama. She is an advocate, and she received her bachelor's and master's in social work from Gallaudet, same as you. So she's working in the DMV, and her goal is to open a practice as a dance therapist for at-risk community.
Oh.
Oh, don't know who this is. Who could this be? We got an African American male with a black jacket, white collar, light brown tie, wearing a black flat haircut, trimmed beard, looking at the camera oh so seriously. Any guesses?
JC.
I mean, okay. Yes, you got it. JC Smith, one and the same, standing right here in front of me. Native of Jackson, Mississippi, leader of the Black Student Union at Gallaudet University, has been seen in the Preserving Black American Sign Language in the Deaf Community documentary on the ABC Night News Prime for interview. Also at the Lincoln Memorial, performing the Martin Luther King Jr. I Have a Dream speech. and you can find that on YouTube under Gallaudet University's page. Whew. I told you, sometimes you see people you know up on these games, and one of them can be yourself. Next, we got an African American female, short highlighted copper hair, has a pair of silver medium hoop earrings, a pendant, a silver chain necklace, wearing a yellow V-line blouse and light blue bead bracelet on her left wrist. Who is she?
I'm gonna guess actress. I might miss this one.
She's hearing. Her name is Karen Graham. She's from Georgia. And she is a sports anchor and morning show host. And she was also on Sign One News. She's the CEO. So she has a digital news network that delivers the day's top stories in American Sign Language. She's been recognized for the best closed captioning commitment to the deaf and hard of hearing community.
I got that one wrong.
All right, last one, last one. You have a picture of an African American male, thin black haircut. He wears a pair of silver framed glasses, black thin beard, a gray blouse with multicolors, diamond shape, gray, black, and tan. And he stands and looks at the camera grinning. Who do you think this might be?
Mm. Richard.
So I know he
I
works
know
at
he's.
RIT in Rochester, New York.
Yeah,
And
he was.
he
Yeah, he was one of the individuals who wrote the Black Sign Language book. Yeah, he was one of the authors.
I know it's on the tip of your fingers. I know it. I know it. And he just spoke at graduation. Remember?
I know
Doctor,
it's
yeah,
Doctor. Yeah, Doctor.
Doctor something, Doctor Joseph Hill. Cool guy, deaf from Rochester, living in Rochester, but native of North Carolina. He's a linguistics professor and dean at RT, author of several books and heavily into research, and he appears on the documentary Black Sign Language in America, and he's working on several projects with Danica Cullen, other creative projects as well.
Whew.
Honestly, though, if you got JC wrong, then we were gonna have to talk. But you didn't. You didn't. So you did good. You did good. But I like keeping that as a part of the show because I like to remember that Black history is every day, right? So it's not just February, it's every day, and we have to remember our people.
All day, every day, 365, 24/7.
Exactly. So I want to give you the opportunity to answer some questions from the audience. You cool with that?
Sure.
All right. Audience, go ahead. Use the chat box. Ask your questions to JC. And, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Go ahead, get your questions in. First question is, what was your favorite part about the I Have a Dream speech? What was your favorite part about doing that translation?
Oh, that's a good question. There's many lines from that speech that I'm drawn to. The last part. Let the freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Like it's just a representation of being free and not having. It's powerful. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring.
Yeah, I remember that part. Free at last, free at last. I'm right there with you. We have another question. Where do you see yourself in 5, maybe 10 years down the road?
Being a strong advocate. Being heavily involved in social media, and use my platform to try to impact the world. Hopefully I can get this internship from ABC News Network that could really set me on my journey and new territories of life. But
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, just take it one day at a time.
exactly. You got to get through graduating school first. We have another question. Are there other historical figures that you might enact in the future or you might translate in the future? What you got up your sleeve?
Hmm.
I mean, I'm thinking Malcolm X. I'm thinking maybe some Frederick Douglass. That might be a good one. Um, who else? Oh, who's the black one?
I say Malcolm X. Yeah, yeah.
One more. We got. What is one of your top destinations in the world that you want to travel to? I remember, you were saying with football you were able to travel some, not too much though because of your schedule. So now that you have a little bit more time on your hands, you can hopefully travel more. So what would be one of your top places?
Yeah, kind of one of the South Asian islands specifically. Beautiful. The water is beautiful. And so what's interesting is that specific place has like a hotel under the water. And so you can see, while you're taking a nap, you can see you can see fish.
You're telling me the Maldives have a hotel underwater? Brother, we need to go.
And where I can find my roots somewhere in Africa. Where I can connect with my lost family. Where in that would because of this where our family where our family broke off. So I really want to connect where the roots are and really follow my genes and follow where where my family.
Mm, yeah. I mean, our ancestry takes us back to the motherland. It brings us back to our roots. That's some powerful stuff. Let's see. We got a hot question. What thoughts came to your mind when you were translating and reciting "I Have a Dream"? You're living in the soul of MLK Jr. Did you feel the same sense of his spirituality in you when you were, signing, let freedom ring, let it ring? What kind of sense did you have in your soul?
Yeah, I remember the first time I recited the speech. The first time it was a lazy work. you know uh, I had the spotlight. I just did it. I was going through the motion. And so I didn't really get into the spirit of reenacting that speech. And until I did it over and over again, and I studied the voice of MLK. I studied the modalities of MLK. I envisioned where he was sitting or where he was standing, performing that speech, and trying to really get into the essence, and try to be the deaf MLK, and it just took over me. And then and when I finally was able to just decide to let it out, to really immerse myself into that speech and understand how that speech can be impacting the world, and understand that the words are possible. It's one thing just to see the rendition of the speech, but it's another thing to see it in American Sign Language. Imagine if they had that opportunity when MLK was performing the speech, to be able to have somebody up there on that stage reciting that speech as well. And so having that opportunity was just something I immersed myself. I imagine I was there.
Well, we have another question. Do you have any special plans for your and your grandmother's birthday this year? Taurus is coming up soon.
Well, my grandmother's a very chill person. She don't like to do too much. Now, my dream for my grandmother, just the goal would be like just going to a restaurant, take her out to a restaurant, we can celebrate together.
Awesome. Well, that was the last question, everyone. It's been amazing to see JC Smith, such an amazing, such a dope person. So great to just talk with you one on one. It was amazing to hear your story. It's so great to be able to learn from each other. So if you in the audience want to keep learning and follow JC Smith on social media, his Instagram, his Facebook, that's all below at JC Smith. And then Instagram is at I am underscore JC Smith. And Twitter is at JC Jerome. That's JEROME Smith number 1. Again, that's at JCJEROMESMITH number 1. So follow him on social media platforms. If any other questions come up that you want to ask him, go ahead, DM him, send him a message.
Come on with it.
JC, it has been a pleasure talking with you. Do you have any final words for the audience that you want to share?
Yeah. First and foremost, thank you for inviting me onto this platform. Thank you for having this conversation. I've had such a great time today. And so my final message, if you have a dream, go get it. Go for it. Don't let anyone ever stop you. You're the only person who can stop you. God is there by your side. You've been gifted. You got a gift. If you want something, go get it. Go get that out. Go get it. Opportunity is there. Run for it. Whatever you got to do, whatever you need to do to get that. It's tough. But if you really want it, don't give up. Go get it.
Yes, yes, brother, you are woke. Hashtag deaf woke. We saw that tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing your story. I appreciate you opening up to us. I know that can be tough and you didn't have to, but you just went all out. So much love to you. Thank you.
Much respect. Much love.
Wow. That was JC Smith, everyone. What a cool brother. What an amazing opportunity to be able to see him just open up, to be vulnerable with us. That's not easy. You know, especially, talking about his childhood and his parents not being around. But it's so amazing to see that even without your parents being around, there was still so much love surrounding him. And that love really paved the way for him to be able to learn sign language, to connect with his community. And that's just a lesson for us all, For each and every one of us, we have to make the effort to connect. If we don't, it won't happen. We'll be lost. Do everything in your power to make that connection, to love your language, love community. And the love of your language and the ability to communicate, that's what's able to propel us to live our dreams, no matter what we encounter, no matter where we find ourselves, whether it be in football, whether it be in advocacy, whether it be in just connection with people. You have to embrace your power and don't give up on your dreams. That is so important in this world. So just like JC said, grab it. It's yours. It's out there. Don't wait for it to be handed to you on a silver platter. Go out and get it. And that is True Biz Deaf Woke. Thank you to everyone for watching tonight. Thank you to JC Smith. Thank you to the interpreters, Drop Labs, GFTA, CAC. Thank you, everyone. And if you enjoyed #DeafWoke, let's see some likes. Let's see some hearts. Where are they? Come on. Bring on some more. Bring on some more. We want to keep our show going and operating. So if you can, please donate to www.realurbanjazzdance.com. This is volunteer run based on love for the community and just love for connecting with each other. So tell your friends, let's keep it going. I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your night. I hope you all enjoyed this time that we had together. We'll be having another Deaf Woke episode shortly. It's coming up soon, so keep an eye out. Again, thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning into #DeafWoke. I'm your host, Antoine Hunter PurpleFireCrow. Peace, love, and I'm out. Again, I'm dancing with no music. Don't even mind. Let's see if we can get some on though.